We'll be continuing our series on Mortal Kombat characters ahead of the 11th game's release with a piece on Noob Saibot, a very dark character in terms of aesthetics, backstory, current game involvement in many ways, to say the least. Noob Saibot is another of the Mortal Kombat ninjas, an esteemed class that takes up a noticeable fraction of the Mortal Kombat cast. We'll be going into what makes this character interesting with a look at the full story of Noob Saibot, a fallen warrior reborn as a shadow of his previous self. We'll also precede our explanation by providing some background on the structure of the Mortal Kombat mythos. In Mortal Kombat games, there are two continuities, the Midway Games continuity and the NetherRealm Studios continuity. The Midway Games continuity comprises all games developed by Midway Games, now defunct, but primarily revolves around the 7 mainline fighting Mortal Kombat games and any spin-offs developed by Midway. While developed by Midway Games, Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe is generally regarded as outside of any sort of franchise canon. The NetherRealm continuity comprises all games or materials developed by the recently established NetherRealm Studios, to which there are 2 fighting games and a companion comic series, with Mortal Kombat 11 set to be the newest release in this continuity. Noob Saibot is not actually the original name of Noob Saibot. His real name, his first name, is Bi-Han. He was once a Chinese martial artist who belonged to a clan called the Lin Kuei. Noob Saibot is also not the first alternate name that Bi-Han has assumed. He has also gone by another name that you might find familiar, Sub-Zero. He enters the first Mortal Kombat tournament in either continuity with different motivations depending on that continuity, but in either case, Bi-Han as Sub-Zero is slain by Scorpion. However, Noob Saibot comes to exist when Bi-Han is reborn as a villainous version of who he once was. We'll go ahead and establish the character's path through both continuities, starting with the Midway continuity. Bi-Han is the playable protagonist of the Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero game, a prequel title to the rest of the Midway Mortal Kombat games. He is hired by the evil sorcerer Quan Chi to retrieve a scroll, and along the way crosses paths with Scorpion. Scorpion is a member of the rival martial arts clan known as the Shirai Ryu, and the bearer of a personal and imagined grudge against Bi-Han, and Bi-Han kills him here, their first of 2 encounters in the game. It is later revealed that Scorpion and Bi-Han were both hired by Quan Chi to receive the same scroll. The scroll contains directions to an amulet belonging to Shinnok, and this is not something that Quan Chi can acquire on his own. However, that amulet belonged to Shinnok would not be revealed until just as Bi-Han was about to retrieve it, at which point Quan Chi takes it for himself, and it is revealed that the amulet will restore Shinnok's power. This would result in mass destruction because Shinnok is bad. Raiden then appears to Bi-Han, instructing him to take back the amulet from Quan Chi to avert catastrophe. Bi-Han defeats but doesn't kill an undead Scorpion, and kills 2 of Quan Chi's underlings while sparing a third, named Serena. Bi-Han later encounters Quan Chi, who says that Bi-Han could only maintain his mortality in the Netherrealm, a realm of great evil, due to his own latent evil. Bi-Han then fights against Quan Chi and wins, later assisted by Serena. Serena is then killed by Shinnok, but the latter is defeated by Bi-Han. Raiden later tells Bi-Han that it is correct that his mortality was maintained only due to the evil existing in his soul, but that Bi-Han can still control his destiny. However, death with a soul as corrupted as Bi-Han's own soul would yield a dark fate. A dark fate also known as becoming Noob Saibot. This transformation comes to pass as Bi-Han enters the first Mortal Kombat tournament, still existing as Sub-Zero, originally tasked with killing another evil sorcerer named Shang Tsung. Outside of and after the tournament, Bi-Han encounters Scorpion, another participant and a past acquaintance. Scorpion immolates Bi-Han, and thus he is reincarnated as Noob Saibot by Quan Chi. As Noob Saibot, his primary allegiances are now to the evil Shinnok and Quan Chi. By the time of Mortal Kombat 3, Noob Saibot also forms a secondary allegiance to Shao Kahn, who is later defeated by the end of the game. The conclusion of Mortal Kombat 4 sees Shinnok defeated again by the heroes. By the time of Mortal Kombat Deception, Noob Saibot is without a master, but he then endeavors to amass power for himself and create a legion of cybernetic warriors, his plan starting with the rebooting of the cyborg Smoke. In Deception, Noob Saibot and Smoke are spotted by Kuai Liang, who assumed the name Sub-Zero since Bi-Han's death starting with Mortal Kombat 2. This Sub-Zero is accompanied by Serena, the warrior Bi-Han had once spared. In a 2 vs 1, Noob Saibot and Smoke overpower Sub-Zero, and it is prior to this fight that Kuai Liang learns that Noob Saibot is the evil reincarnation of Bi-Han, his older brother. While Noob Saibot and Smoke were winning against Sub-Zero, Sareena later intervenes, with the evil duo later retreating from the fight. In Mortal Kombat Armageddon, Noob Saibot and Smoke both attack the Lin Kuei headquarters with the purpose of defeating Sub-Zero and taking over the Lin Kuei, but they are defeated by Taven. The two villains incapacitated, Sub-Zero attempts to purify the two warriors' souls. Sub-Zero succeeded with Smoke, but was unsuccessful with Noob Saibot. And in the grand war that closed Armageddon, Noob Saibot fights on the side of evil and dies like many others, poetically killed again by Scorpion. This scene of mass bloodshed, a failure for the heroes and all around terrible, is a course of events that Raiden seeks to avert. Raiden, to be clear, is one of the hero characters throughout the course of the games thus far, and is a hero character with the ability to receive visions of past and future events, though their meanings are at times incomplete to him. But this concept founds the rebooting of the Mortal Kombat franchise that is now currently active in the form of the NetherRealm continuity. In Mortal Kombat 2011, the beginning of the NetherRealm continuity, the playable Sub-Zero there only exists through Kuai Liang. Both Noob Saibot and Sub-Zero exist as separately playable characters. Noob Saibot, however, is not one of the characters who has their own story mode chapter. Bi-Han does start the game assuming the name Sub-Zero and acts in concert with the other Lin Kuei warriors, Cyrax, Sector, and Smoke, to fight on Outworld's behalf. Bi-Han is defeated by Sonya in the first Mortal Kombat tournament. Later, Bi-Han, still as Sub-Zero, encounters Scorpion, and the two fight with Scorpion emerging as the victor. Scorpion, prior to this fight, has been instructed by Raiden to not kill Bi-Han, but due to provocation from Quan Chi by way of projecting false images of Scorpion's family and the Shirai Ryu clan being destroyed by Bi-Han, Scorpion is enraged and rips out Bi-Han's spine. Bi-Han is later resurrected as Noob Saibot, a demon warrior, and serves Quan Chi. Now no longer existing as Sub-Zero, though retaining his memories of past self as Bi-Han, Noob Saibot encounters Kung Lao, who fights and wins against him. Afterwards, he mostly exists as a secondary character, being beaten up by Cabal in a 2 vs 1 in which he was allied with Mileena. However, he does later square off against his younger brother Kuai Liang. By this point, Kuai Liang has been through quite a journey. He assumes the mantle of Sub-Zero after Bi-Han's death, is captured and converted into an evil cyborg named Cyber Sub-Zero. However, he is also then captured by the heroes and reprogrammed as a hero. Noob Saibot reveals himself as Kuai Liang's older brother, though renouncing their blood ties, and mocks Kuai Liang's claim to the title of Sub-Zero. In the fight that ensues, Cyber Sub-Zero wins, with Kuai Liang assenting and renouncing their ties as brothers. Noob Saibot's involvement in Mortal Kombat 2011 closes with Noob Saibot clashing with Nightwolf. Noob Saibot is defeated by being propelled into a Soulnado that Quan Chi had been conjuring since before Noob Saibot and Cyber Sub-Zero's fight. Thus far, this event marks the end of Noob Saibot's existence as an active Mortal Kombat character. Noob Saibot doesn't feature in the Mortal Kombat 10 comic outside of flashbacks as Bi-Han. Noob Saibot is also not a playable character in Mortal Kombat 10. Bi-Han, and not Noob Saibot, is also only referred to in passing by other characters. Noob Saibot is mostly a satellite character, and even when he exercises greater self-interest in the games, it ultimately creates little effect on the main goings-on of the plot. We shouldn't expect anything different from this of Mortal Kombat 11 going forward. First off, he's basically dead after Mortal Kombat 2011. But if you entertain the idea of Noob Saibot being reincarnated as a human, what would you be left with? Would a resurrected Bi-Han retain his Noob Saibot powers? You would need an entirely new and radical concept of Bi-Han as a character, and while it would certainly create great dramatic effect to have the evil brother become good, it really seems like too much of a stretch to entertain this as likely, in large part because he's not that much necessary. Mortal Kombat 10 introduced new hero characters including Cassie Cage and Jackie Briggs, and while the heroes' side is certainly wanting for numbers, how will anybody be resurrected as a human? It was a combination of Quan Chi and Raiden's power that brought back Jax, Scorpion, and Sub-Zero, though the opportunity was seized by Raiden rather than a conscious outcome of Quan Chi's doing. Despite the two brothers being portrayed as not having absolute control over their destinies, what with the franchise's idea of reprogramming characters, being subjugated for evil purposes, or being resurrected as a demon or a human. Thus far, it seems that Bi-Han and Kuai Liang are portrayed with good and evil essences. Noob Saibot could be resurrected as Noob Saibot instead of the more positive turns of fate for Jack, Scorpion, and Sub-Zero, but even still, who would resurrect him, and what would he do in the story? Quan Chi, who has resurrected characters and was Noob Saibot's primary former allegiance, is dead at the end of Mortal Kombat 10. There is no shortage of evil underlings, and NetherRealm may be satisfied to introduce new characters to serve as villains. Alright, that concludes our evaluation and explanation of Noob Saibot heading into Mortal Kombat 11. It is hard to say that we will even see Noob Saibot appear in the newest Mortal Kombat game, having already been skipped for Mortal Kombat 10, but we do hope that this video serves as some helpful education on the significance of Noob Saibot as a character, minimal as it may have been thus far. Are you a fan of Noob Saibot, hoping to see him in the new Mortal Kombat 11? Disagree with how little of a role he has had in the games thus far? Be sure to sound off in the comments section below. And that about does it for this video. If you enjoyed what you watched and want to see more from GamingBolt, you can always hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon next to it. That way you will never miss any of our videos.